Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Or is it going to be the Super Event Sunday again? Year number 6. And I'm glad I got the button right this time. People getting notifications. Arise. Yep. Yesterday, the first show, I got the wrong button, the notification, so I deleted that first show yesterday. So we are going to have another big Intel day. Chico made breakfast this morning. Got the scrambled eggs. Yeah, yes you did, didn't you? Good. Come here. Come here. You want to say hi to everybody? Come on. So, Oreo first. Team. I text Ann, told her I hope she can make it in today. Come on. Up there, hi to everybody. Come on. And Lucy, get up here. Come on. Come on, Goopy. You don't need no food. You had enough this morning. You don't want to come up? So, yep. Kind of warm finally. The sun's out, but not too bad. At least it's not snowing. So, we have a big lineup till the Super Bowl. So, everybody's staying home today and we'll do Intel all the way up to game time. Unless I have to leave somewhere. Because I got 2 big videos, Tim. One is Captain Kyle with the one guy that talks 9 minutes on Telegram. They did that group video, and that's an hour and 20. And then our favorite lady, News Force, got the big video drop from this morning. She's been missing for a long time, but 38 minutes on that one. And I got some Canadian news for Ann and all the other Canadian friends. I had some yesterday, but you must have came in late yesterday, Ann. But yeah, we're gonna have a big show up to the Super Bowl. Ring. What? Come on. Come up here. Why do I gotta force you to come up here? Come up here. I want you to say hi. Wake up. Wake up. Come on. Chico, come up here. Come up here. I want to start, okay? Okay? You don't want to say hi? Huh? Say hi to Ariella and everybody? Get up here. I'll see if I can get them up. Here, come on. I gotta bribe you, don't I? Don't I? Get up there. Come on. Nope. Here. Yep, I gotta give them treats. All right, say hi. Say happy Sunday, everybody. Say happy Sunday. Huh? Huh? Say hi to everybody. What? Oh, you look outside? Huh? All right. We'll be a busy day today, bud. Okay? There's your treats. Yep, I hear what you're saying, Ann. Oh, so we got two people in here right now. It's from Canada. All right, right? You're from Canada? Okay, good. I got some short clips for you. It's on the True. It's called a True TV news they do on TikTok. Well, hello, Linda. Good to see you. Been a while. Must be busy. Hope you're listening to all the shows. We've been getting out some good intel. And we're going to have a big show again. Yeah. I think I did come across that. And tomorrow, I guess tomorrow could be a big day on the Epstein files. Um, it's going to come out. One more big drop. Yeah, that Rebel, I think I know, might be the one I showed before, I think, but hopefully Kay will be in here. But I'm going to do the short clips for a while. We'll get the short, good ones out of the way before we get to the big videos. And we'll go ahead and get started. This lady's good.
Out there screaming and talking about the Antichrist. Let me break this down in broad term. Remember when Yeshua told us that there was a false prophet to come after him? Remember Paul? Paul took Yeshua's message, he twisted it. Then there was the Council of Nicaea. The Council of Nicaea went in and took out the missing books like Mary Magdalene, books like the Gospel of Thomas, things that gave us the keys to finding sovereignty within ourselves, which is everything that Yeshua was teaching us. They went on to create a one-world religion, the Vatican. They branched that one-world religion, Christianity, into 40,000 plus other religions, causing confusion, division, and separation. The Most High that I serve does not stand for any of that. They gave you a false light. They gave you a man to worship, a blood sacrifice to worship. All of this stuff coming out about the Epstein files, all of those people that y'all are screaming and hollering about, you're serving the same God that they are. The God that they took outside of you, the God of this world, 2 Corinthians 4:4, the God of the Old Testament, the God of blood sacrifice. That's who they're serving, promising you a home in the sky. Along with your sky daddy. Christ is within you. Everything Yeshua was here to teach us, the church disregarded it. Scripture has been twisted upside down and inside out. Keep you confused. If you follow Yeshua's teachings, you find your divinity. You find the light within you. We've been taught that we have to die to get there. That's the greatest lie ever told. That is not Yeshua's message. His message was right here, right now, within you. So to all of you out there screaming about the Antichrist, false light, it's already happened. We're witnessing the destruction of that. Not the end of the world, it's the beginning of the new, where we find our divinity. We walk with Christ within. We become like him. We do greater things than him. There is nothing to fear. Yeah, we're going to witness a lot of reveal coming out, a lot of chaos. Hold on. February 2026 will go down in history. The righteous shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth. Why are we waiting on death to get to our kingdom? And it's right here, and it's at hand. What in the chaos is going on?
That was good from her. She did a good job. There's that. Super Bowl 60, 77 years, 7 months, 7 weeks, and 7 days from the rebirth of Israel Levi Stadium. Mighty go, yeah. We got some 2 long videos. I decided to come on at 1 instead of 2. Captain Ron and that one guy from Telegram, it's a good one. And News Force lady, 38 minutes has a big drop video. So we're doing the short videos first.
On Absolute Storm Show 167, dated February 4th, we were highlighting this particular Q698. It's an upcoming Delta, February 8th, 2018. U.S. Secret Service on high alert. Okay. How we got there was that's a Delta for the Super Bowl. And we keep getting these comms about some sort of major emergency broadcast. Okay, that's how we got there. But watch this. So we're focusing on this Q on February 4th. So what happens 2 days later? So again, that's us on the 4th. Focus on this particular Q. Oh, 2 days after we talked about it, February 6th, armed suspect posing as United States Secret Service was shot dead, and his bullets had inscriptions of Trump on them. Very Charlie Kirkland-like. Oh, that's not all. Same day, February 6th. We have a different case. Ohio man charged for threatening to kill the vice president of the United States. So left to right, Absolute Storm on the 4th. Look for information on this particular Q. 2 days later, these 2 threats, one against the president, one against the vice president. One is actually posing as Secret Service. Come on! All right, we'll go through it. Absolute Storm.
Okay, that's I am. Next 3 are short ones. These are new ones from her, I think.
Reaching DEFCON 1, and it's all unfolding with just days to go before a make-or-break election. Over in Minneapolis, a mayoral candidate born abroad is taking the stage, not waving old glory, but rather flaunting foreign colors while speaking in his native language, all while urging supporters to vote for him on November 4th. How are we allowing this to happen on American soil? Meanwhile, Representative Ilhan Omar recently calling the president of Somalia our president in a public speech, praising her special relationship with him. And we're also learning more disturbing details about Zohran Mamdani's inner circle. These officials, they're not whispering anymore. Their vision is perfectly clear, and it's time voters pay attention before these plans shape the future of our country. And for today's bonus, Gavin Newsom, I'm starting to think he's auditioning to perform sign language during the national anthem at the Super Bowl. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. The left is rallying behind these radical candidates under the banner of social justice, but heaven forbid you call out their crazy left ideas, and then you're instantly branded a racist or labeled intolerant faster than you can say cancel culture. They're not building up America. They're undermining our innovators, the entrepreneurs who fuel our economy and keep this nation moving. So instead, they want citizens that are dependent on government programs so they can consolidate power. It's not compassion, it's control. Like promising to end corruption while you hire your campaign donors as staff members. Although maybe I shouldn't say that out loud and give the left any new ideas. Even Fox News is sounding the alarm bells. Watch this.
As I've been saying, these democratic socialists, they are coming for your city. And let me tell you why. So you know Zohran Mamdani, we've been talking about him. He's New York. He's a Democratic Socialist Party. He wants city-run grocery stores, free, and he says fast buses. We'll see about that. Free lawyers for illegal immigrants. And there's more where that came from. But he's not the only one. Across the country, there are more. Two more examples. In Minneapolis, Omar Fateh is running. He wants to fund non-police programs, keep homeless encampments, and stabilize rent. You hear?
These are not the people looking to make America great again. In fact, behind their social justice branding is just a policy package that raises costs. It weakens enforcement and puts ideology over everyday safety. They refuse to embrace our history. Instead, they want to rewrite it. They reject the core ideas that make America the envy of the world. And instead, they want to shove their ideologies down our throats. We'll take a hard look at this poll. It's the wake-up call New Yorkers need. Among American-born voters, Andrew Cuomo surges ahead at 40%, while Mamdani, he lags at 31%, and Sliwa holds 25%. That's what I would expect to see in these polls. However, if you flip to foreign-born voters, it is a total plot twist. Mamdani dominates with a whopping 62%, leaving Cuomo at 24% and Sliwa scraping 12%. We are at a tipping point where outsiders are infiltrating our halls of power, reshaping America into the very nightmare they fled. Talk about bringing your baggage with you. And brace yourselves for this head scratcher in Minneapolis. Omar Fateh stages a rally begging for votes this Tuesday, but there is no American flag in sight. In fact, he's waving a Somali flag like it's the star of the show, jabbering in Somali and pledging loyalty to his people. Without context, you would swear this was an event happening overseas, not in our backyard. Roll the tape. It is equal parts absurd and alarming. America, it is time.
Okay, that's the first one.
Crisis. But CNN suddenly sounds sane and is admitting Donald Trump is right. Jake Tapper took on a Democrat congresswoman over the government shutdown and didn't just expose the party's ridiculous lies, he humiliated her in the process. She gets so flustered, her hand gestures start staging a rebellion while Tapper just keeps landing punch after punch like a pro. Then Casey Hunt, she jumps in, joining the fight for journalistic integrity, calling out a Democrat senator for not practicing what he preached 5 minutes before the show. And then I have a few glorious clips for you later in the show. President Trump, he was just crowned king. Did you see this? No joke. And wait until you see how the liberals are reacting. It is some of the most glorious clips I've had for you in a while. As always, like the video and let's make this fun. I'm going to start a little game in the comments. Guess the date that you think this government shutdown is finally going to end. I will personally give a shout out to the winners when this circus is officially over. My prediction? I'm going to go with Thursday, November 6th. So mark your calendars and may the odds be in your favor. Now, the Democrat Party right now, they're a 5-alarm dumpster fire of failed policies,
That's my birthday.
worse optics, and zero self-awareness. Their poll numbers, they're dropping faster than Biden on a bike. And their grip on reality, it's not far behind. They have lost independence, they've lost credibility, and now even their favorite PR firm, the mainstream media, they're jumping ship. CNN's Jake Tapper practically went 12 rounds with New Mexico Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury over who's to blame for the government shutdown. Pay attention to the Congresswoman's hand gestures because she makes Gavin Newsom look tranquilized. Roll it.
Should the Democratic senators from New Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding their
by
tactics.
The White House.
Well,
this is a choice by the White House.
This is also, Congresswoman, this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is. I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want Medicaid funds restored. They're doing it because they want Obamacare premiums to be extended past the end of the year. I understand the reasoning.
Sir, let me just be clear. The money for contingency plans is sitting there. That is why the states are suing. The White House is withholding funds from
2 to 3 weeks worth of SNAP funds. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it may not be a big deal to you, but let me tell you that for the grandparents, for grandparents that literally are feeding their children.
My point is that it's a short-term solution.
In those accounts.
It's a short-term.
At the end of the day, people need to be able to feed their families, and Saturday is when those funds run out.
If you feel so
and
strongly,
we are fighting
Congresswoman, why not ask the Senate Democrats from New Mexico to vote to open the government so that the SNAP funds...
Sir, I am here in the House of Representatives. It is shut down. I am fighting to get the government reopened. I am fighting to get funding put back into SNAP that is already existent, and I am fighting for the American people.
Good for Jake. That is how journalism is done. And for the Congresswoman, no. Let me be clear. House Republicans, they already did their job. They passed the bill to fund the government. The only people that are still pretending this shutdown is the GOP's fault are you and your Senate buddies, including the one whose hair looks like it was dyed by a toddler with a juice box that has a grudge.
There's nothing stopping the Trump administration from making sure that every single one of the 42 million Americans, 16 million children, 8 million seniors, 4 million people with disabilities, 1.2 million veterans receive nutrition assistance in November.
When Democrats run out of arguments, they just start yelling Trump like it's Beetlejuice. And right on cue, Democrat Senator Ruben Gallego, or as I like to call him, Ragin' Ruben, he did exactly that on CNN. Now brace yourself, because in a rare moment of clarity from the anchor desk, Casey Hunt, she's actually going to push back. See, either something is in the water over there at CNN, or they stumbled into a journalism seminar by mistake, because boy, are they on a roll. Gallego, however, he looked like a stage 5 TDS case study playing out in real time.
Why is it suddenly right to do it this way and to do it for this long when it didn't used to be the right way in Democrats' view?
Oh, that's an easy answer. It's Donald Trump. You're talking about norms in the time of Donald Trump. It's also normal
right,
not
but
for you to tear
Democrats
down
have spent so much time arguing about how maintaining those norms is actually incredibly important in the face of
It's all out the window. It's all out the window, Casey. No, when you're doing the time with Donald Trump, this is the man that is like extorting people. He's literally, breaking every rule.
So let me get this straight. Democrats spend years lecturing the rest of us about protecting democracy and defending norms, but the moment it's politically convenient, those norms just go right out the window faster than Kamala fleeing a border briefing. They preach rule of law until they're the ones breaking it. They demand accountability until it's their turn. And that's why they're losing every messaging battle, including with their own base. I don't know if it's a miracle.
Okay, that's our TikTok lady. We'll go back. We'll go back and do more of her. I'm gonna go back and do some other ones. I like her. She does good intel. You guys see this last night? Oh, where is it? Let's play this one. This one's 2 minutes.
All 50 states are involved in government-subsidized child trafficking. It's a ring. It is the largest and most pervasive child trafficking ring in the history of the world by sheer money and numbers.
Children are seized unnecessarily from their families due to the federal aid entitled the Adoption and Safe Families Act.
It was put into law in 1997 by Bill and Hillary Clinton, and I said it that way on purpose, And it is a law that literally steals money from the Social Security Fund and gives this money to the states in order to incentivize them to kidnap babies.
To receive the adoption incentives or bonuses, local CPS must have more children. They must have more merchandise to sell.
Every child, once you've added it all up, is worth approximately $1 million to the state. But we've been told that this is a $60 to $80 billion a year industry, meaning the federal government is taking $80 billion a year and giving that money to all of the 50 states to kidnap children.
Parents are victimized by the system that makes a profit for holding children longer and bonuses for not returning children to their parents.
But their own statistics state that 83% of all children who are taken by CPS, Child Protective Services, are for unsubstantiated allegations, meaning never should it have happened in the first place. So that imagine anything else in the world where you know you get it wrong 83% of the time and you admit it, but you just keep doing it.
Case workers and social workers are often guilty of fraud. They withhold and destroy evidence.
Okay, I thought that was an important one there. A 4-minute one on Steve Bannon.
Are still the heartbeat of rural America. 95%, this is shock you, 95% of the farms in America are family farms. Everybody thinks it's big corporate.
And that would be defined as what?
You know, run by the families. Some of them are incorporated for legal reasons, but it
and to be able to pass down.
And tax reasons, things like that. But yeah, 95% are family farms. And a lot of them are passed on from generation to generation to generation.
But these are the ones that are under siege the most, right? In fact, the bailout is really trying to make sure we're not bailing out agribusiness, but we're bailing out family farms. So what pressures are they under today?
Well, we've got, and the pressures are a lot less. They're getting better and better, and they're fixing to get really, really good. The tariffs, and Trump said this in the first administration, he reminded them this time, you know, it's going to get a little rough, but I'm going to take care of you. I'll take this tariff money and I'll prop you up. Just stay with me. And now we're seeing the results of that. You know, China just bought a bunch of soybeans. They're talking about buying some more. Prices are coming up. We're going to get good prices for our commodities. When Trump left that first administration, farmers were making more money than they'd ever made. It was good.
And particularly the year 19 before the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. Even during the pandemic.
What were those policies and what were those policies then that contributed to farms and particularly family farms doing well?
Well, Trump's aggressive trade policies is what put us in the black. He found us new markets. He increased our markets. He got commitments to buy our products. We were, you know, agriculture exports went through the roof, and we owned the agriculture exports around the world. Thanks to Donald Trump.
Do you feel the second term, the second administration, he's just as focused? He gave a talk the other day about this very topic, about how he loves the farmers. The farmers already supported him. I know the media is trying to make a big deal about his tariff policies today being even more aggressive from Liberation Day. Yeah. Do you feel that his policies so far have helped, particularly not just agribusiness, but the family farmer?
Oh, absolutely. You know, that first term, it took like 2 years for this to get to this point. We're there in about 14 months. We're going to tip over a lot sooner. The farmer's going to make a lot more money a lot quicker, because those tariffs are kicking in, they're working. We had the first time he had like 2, maybe 3, you know, bailouts. We had 1 this time is all it's going to take. So farmers are ready to make some money. Biden ruined the agriculture industry. 4 years.
What did he do? What specifically in your mind did Biden do to hurt agriculture?
He didn't make 1 trade agreement, none, didn't sign 1 contract. So not only did we not find new markets for our agriculture producers, we didn't even keep the customers we had. The Foreign Agriculture Service and USDA, they were all focused on the Green New Deal, climate change, LGBTQ, DEI, you know, all this. And they
things not related to the business.
No,
actually.
No, their deal is to, you know, protect and promote agriculture. So first time in my lifetime, you know, America's always been the breadbasket of the world. We grow enough for ourselves and feed a lot of the rest of the world. Agriculture has always been one of our top exports. Biden left us with a $50 billion agriculture trade deficit. We are buying $50 billion more food than we're selling. That means we are dependent on foreign nation to feed us. When we're dependent on somebody else to feed us, that's when they can have full power over America. That's the most dangerous situation I think we've ever been in. So we're working hard to turn that around. My office, I have 45 international trade missions set up in the next 12 months. Well, the family farms are still.
Okay, I thought that was another important one. Auntie has a big video.
Pizzagate is real. Those of us who have known that for decades and have been shouting it from the rooftop, being mocked and scoffed and labeled as crazy, we've always known about Pizzagate and what it stands for. It isn't new. In fact, Pizzagate is just the latest, trending label. But over the decades, it has been called something else. Oh, but first things first, Tiki Talk, this is purely for entertainment purposes. Only nothing about this is entertaining, but it does involve the entertainment industry. I'm just thinking out loud. I got new boots, new boot goof, and let's go. If you are Gen X, you remember this. Eating your cereal in the morning before you go to school and staring at this every single day. Same carton, different faces. Milk carton after milk carton. Sunday morning after Sunday morning. I'll never forget me and my brothers growing up staring at faces just like these, wondering how so many children in this world could go missing, but at that age, never understanding really what this was and what this meant. And eventually, in the 90s, what this would mean. I'm going to give you a second to do the math. The 1990s Got Milk ad campaign, really, come on. Never before and never since has milk really truly ever mattered this much. So much that many of your favorite celebrities took part in the campaign multiple times. Hey, bae, we see you. As celebrity after celebrity would make these milk ads with white milk on the top of their lip, proudly boasting one by one that each of them, they got milk. And The Rock, being The Rock, always taking it an extra step, he made sure to always boast he loved and that he got milk. And if you think your favorite celebrity isn't in those files and doesn't partake in such things, you might want to hang on to your britches, because even Tay-Tay, she made sure to partake in all of it, and it looked like she partook in Got Milk. Just like Beyonce, not once, but twice. Just like all of the others donning the trademark white upper lip. You guys got to remember, the bigger the star, the darker the secrets. You don't get this big without playing along. Taylor Swift says, in this business, you've got to be decisive. So I choose milk. Don't have to tell us twice or 3 times. Is that right? Who's counting? Even the most innocent of actors seem to enjoy partaking in, milk. But let me remind you, that is exactly what they are. They are actors. Some, I guess, better than others. As somebody who has known the truth for decades, I will say Jennifer Aniston and even Adam Sandler, they had me fooled. There are times as a truther, as a critical thinker, that even we're disappointed in what we find. And I found this long, long ago about these two. In fact, over the years, their love for pizza has become more public than most of the celebrities.
It's the greatest host, but I like him like I'm going to bed at 9. I can't come over. Your thing starts at 8:30. So
yes, she can handle it. She can handle it. And her parties are incredible at her house too.
Yeah, she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza.
Wonderful pizza. All right, just we're all like, whatever.
No, Ellen, no, we're not like whatever. Not anymore, because the world is wide awake.
Yes. Is it true you went and had pizza with the Clooney's?
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah, yes, that was amazing.
Yes. Look what he wore. Wait, look what he wore. I'm sorry. Look at the black. Those are satin blue, dark blue with white piping, basketball shorts.
Well,
and a velour turquoise.
It was very comfortable, a little warm.
And little.
But when I eat pizza, I wear shorts like everybody else in the damn world.
Yeah, but Adam, everybody else in the damn world doesn't eat pizza like you and Sweet Jen.
We told a story about going and having pizza at the Clooney's in Lake Como. Yeah, that's all in Aniston. So like George and I would love you to come over for pizza, but how was the pizza? Was it good? Oh, what he make it himself? Pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Something that 5 different kinds. 5 different kinds or 6 different kinds.
Watch your face.
Clooney's was excellent. Thank you very much for this prestigious award. To show my appreciation, I am inviting you all to a pizza party tonight at Jennifer Aniston's house. I'll see you there.
You've been to my house. We've had pizza. Girl after my own heart. Do we love a pizza or what? We love a pizza. It's so good. So much fun.
Now, I by no means am a Hollywood superstar, nor am I a movie star, but I don't know. Is it normal to talk more about pizza and pizza parties when you're on a press junket tour for a brand new movie you just did than you actually talk about the movie itself in multiple interviews? It was all about the pizza party at the Clooney's. It seems almost as normal as mentioning pizza parties with every single person on the Ellen show, whether you're on it or you're hosting it yourself. That's odd too. But I guess if you love pizza, you've got to have something to wash it down with, right, Jen? I don't know. What, like milk? Even Mike Myers, Austin Powers, took part in the very trendy Got Milk 1990s ad. His quote, "What's my bag? It's milk, baby. Yeah. Yeah." And of course, David Copperfield. Of course, let's take a peek at what his ad has.
This is a good one from Mandy.
And try to read the first part, but what he says about milk, his favorite thing is making it disappear. This one actually broke my heart to see. Amanda Bynes with a butterfly. But it's what's down here that actually broke my heart. Each actor has a quote, and hers is metamorphosis. What changed since the Amanda show? ? Me. Thanks to milk. Yeah. Speaking of parts of these ads that broke my heart, this one did too. And what does his say? Want strong kids? These have been introduced through the Epstein files from the FBI. These are code words that these elite people would use in regards to, well, their interests. I've had to scratch out a few of them because, well, hot dog, pizza, cheese, pasta, ice cream, walnut, map, and sauce. Got Kith? I'm not even 100% certain what Kith is. I believe it's a candy thing, but she's, sitting there holding milk. Christy Teigen. You can have millions of followers, but it doesn't matter what you're saying if you're not listening. My favorite thing to listen to, my cravings. The quote from Christy Teigen. When that happens, I go to Kith Treats. Their sweet confections are worthy of applause, and you all know how much I love clapping back. And I can't remember this guy's name, and if he's involved in all this, it's not even worth looking up or Googling. But of course, got treats? Well, that kind of had me curious. So when you're speaking about sweet treats, could it be maybe possibly anything on that list? And whatever his name was said, when I was a kid, I thought to myself, when I'm old, nobody can tell me what to do. I'm going to eat ice cream. Wait, now where have I heard that before? Oh, that's right. Okay. It's got to be a coincidence. It's got to be. I'm going to eat ice cream for breakfast whenever I want. Thankfully, Kith's Treats open at 10 a.m. I think my young self would be proud. Would he really be proud? So Pizzagate is what you guys are discovering, and I get it. It's new. It's hard to understand, and nobody wanted to admit that we were right. Pizzagate is just what came after the milk campaign of the 90s. So when you really think that your favorite celebrity is not a part of all of this evil, I really need you to remember there are other islands and there are other files, but there aren't many ways to get to the top, not to the tippy top, by being a really good person. This was what Pizzagate was before it was called Pizzagate, because before it was called Got Milk, leaving many of us now to wonder if these were a little bit less of looking for children, missing children, and more advertising a product for sale. As the world is finding.
That was a good one from Manty there. So the next three are Canadian news for our friends.
And control plan.
Oh, wait.
Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. And so many of us around the world think that sustainable development, it just sounds so great. Isn't it about recycling and creative reuse and creating energy and food resources for everyone? And the answer is no, it really is not. It's about moving populations into city centers, concentrated city centers, and clearing them out of the rural areas. It's constructed of non-governmental organizations, corporations, and government in order to dictate and regulate what it is that happens around the world. Regionalization is the stepping stone to globalization, and globalization is the standardization of all systems. All systems have to be brought into harmony in order to control them all. And the goal of Agenda 21 is one world government and total control from a central unit. The principles are public-private partnerships, which is fascism. And this is how it's implemented on the ground, is through this joining together between corporations, non-governmental organizations, and governments in order to cut out the actual individual, your voter, and instead to take that to a level where we literally cannot penetrate. This is a corporatocracy. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world while we are moving towards the end game. We are not there. And this is the opportunity that all of us have now to stand up, to speak out. We are free, and we need to continue to be free. And I do believe that we will win, but we have to become aware that there is a fight.
That was an important one. So far, so good. A lot of good stuff coming out early. A lot more to come. You guys know this lady, Ann?
You see, once upon a time, 13 families decided, hey, we're the chosen ones because we've got blue blood, and we're going to infiltrate almost every aspect of these people's lives and then make them into our stockyard animals, and we will treat them as such. And that's pretty much how it started. They've infiltrated everything from the royal families to the governments to religion to every schooling institution, health institution. They own all of our resources, including the information that you and I share on here. And so it's almost like putting puzzle pieces together, trying to figure out what the real history is, because they changed it to basically, suit what their agendas are. So I actually went down this rabbit hole, and I'm like, what is allowing this evil to actually flourish? And apparently it's stupid people, and it's not the stupid sense in IQ or education. It's actually how well you want to be liked by a group of people and how much bullshit you're willing to tolerate by that group and lose your own autonomy in order to fit in with other people. Not even kidding. Let me show you. Theory of Stupidity by Bonhoeffer. He basically wrote, stupidity is more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. And he says that because malice or evil has a pattern. It can be kind of, foreseen. Whereas the stupid person is completely irrational. You have no idea why they're doing what they're doing. They're not even gaining anything from the stupidity that they're doing. They're actually taking away from you and from society, not benefiting in any way. But it's because of that wanting to be liked by a group, they will actually take on all of the bullshit. And down here, he even says, in conversation with him, he means a stupid person, one virtually feels that one is dealing not at all with a person, but with slogans, catchwords, and the like that have been taken possession of him. He's under a spell, blinded, misused, and abused in his very being, having thus become a mindless tool. The stupid person will also be capable of any evil, and at the same time, incapable of seeing that it is evil. If you pause and read, here in the 1970s, Carlo Coppola actually wrote 5 Laws of Stupidity. And he even says that their unreasonable behavior makes absolutely no sense to a rational person because they do not actually gain anything by taking away the rights of other people. Now, if we take this idea and we apply it to what has happened in the last 5 years, you can see that a lot of people who got the you-know-what were forced by other people. And those people didn't actually realize what they were doing was evil. They just wanted to be liked. They wanted to do the right thing. They thought that they were saving people and saving the world. And they did not want to listen to any rational thought or anything like that. And you can even see that in almost all of these movements and all of these protests. It's just likes, to get likes and to be liked, to be accepted by a community. And I have a feeling that most of these people actually don't know how to make friends, and they want to be liked and accepted so bad that they go to these protests. That's why they make these videos of how do I look at a protest. Like, basically, we're fucked, you guys. Yeah.
Okay, we got a second one here. Five minutes on this one.
Frankism. And if you don't, that's basically the belief system that these elite parasites believe in now. This religion started in the 1600s, specifically June 6, 1666. So the 6 month, 6 day of 1666. And there was a guy who basically thought that he was the Messiah. And he thought that he could break out of this matrix or reality if he sins and goes against everything that the Torah and the Talmud are saying. And therefore, he decided to start a little small cult. Now, that cult eventually died out because, you know, the Jewish community, they were like, we don't want anything to do with you. Please go away. Because they outwardly were practicing Judaism, but inwardly they were practicing Sebastianism. If you don't know what that is, I will explain it to you, but I just kind of need to give you a little history. So eventually this little group dies off. And then in the 1800s, a guy named Jacob Frank rediscovers their writing and introduces it to Europe in the 1800s. Now, this is now called Franksism because of his last name. He says that he's the reincarnation of the original dude who wanted to send his way to heaven. And I'm going to show you exactly what they believe in so that you understand why everything in this world today is an inversion. Everything that is good is bad and everything that is bad is good. And also why they want a new world order, because it's actually written in their cult, religious writing. And their entire thing is to infiltrate all three religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, and destroy it. They also infiltrated the Illuminati and the Freemasons, and that is how they slowly started to infiltrate almost every aspect of our lives, and they practice this. Now, once I show you this, I cannot read it out loud because of the algorithm, so please, if I point to the words, know why I can't read it out loud. If you look at this, the word of the Lord, which is the most important Franksist text, is filled with inversion, sexual symbolism, anti-law rhetoric, and messianic self-references. They conspired with the Illuminati with goals of destroying all religions and fusing all nations into one. It says here that this guy traced the incestuous practices of the Sebastians to that of the Earth mothership worship. And here it even says, even though outwardly they have a religion as one of the Abrahamic religions, because eventually they were kicked out of the Jewish community and then they infiltrated the Catholic community. It says here, outwardly, they're religious. However, the annihilation of every religion and positive system of belief, and they dreamed of general revolution that would sweep away the past in a single stroke so that the world might be rebuilt. That's the Great Reset. And if you're wondering what some of their beliefs are, look up here. You've got that, adultery, that, and otherwise other depraved things. Now, if you add MK Ultra to that and more knowledge, especially about how trauma then further kind of builds your, I should say, sixth senses, you get a whole lot of building upon this cult that is now running the highest positions in our world, and this is exactly how they did it. And their goal is to come after every single religion, which is why you see every 5 to 10 years they will attack. They've been attacking Christianity for the last 10 years. Before that, they were attacking Islam, and now we're at the point where we're attacking Judaism. And that keeps us fighting in a loop, in a circle, so that they can bring on chaos in which they think will come order out of that, because it will transcend a Messiah to earth and liberate all of us spiritually. And they need all of us on board because we as human beings are, energetic. And the more of us that believe this, whether we know it or not, or we're just going along with society, we're actually helping usher this stuff in. And this is why during the 18th century, when the Illuminati was being infiltrated, one of the guys was like, hey, I'm going to break away from the Christian church. And they started to build the Amish community. Is because the Amish community doesn't want any part of this worldly possessive world. They only want to live by the original biblical ways. And so now do you see why some of these political parties are pushing for the inversion of things and bringing chaos and telling you to not follow laws or rules and that religion is stupid and that you can just free yourself and all of the spirituality that's coming out in the new age? That's all to usher in their goals for what their beliefs are in this cult. And this is the cult that has been allowed to cultivate in the background while basically screwing us all over.
That was a different one that she normally plays. I don't know how long you've been following, but
you people really don't want to help people.
For subbing and supporting. Just be respectful. Thank you. Can I ask what state you're from? Got one more Canadian video.
It's been very interesting what is going on in the industry worldwide, but particularly in Canada. How CEOs are talking to us and also union leaders talking to us is how can they profit from the fact that we have so many free trade agreements? Never before did I hear a CEO say, you know what, we'll start exporting to Europe. We'll start exporting to the Middle East. Why not export into Latin America? And the trade relations are being reshaped as U.S. protectionism is just going ahead. And so that's why when you hear the Prime Minister in Davos saying, you know, middle powers will work together, concretely for auto workers, what does that mean? Well, they will be building either in Windsor, in Alliston, in Woodstock, Cambridge, Oshawa, Oakville, cars that maybe years ago were absolutely going to the US, and that will continue. But now they will be building for the world. And so they will be sending these cars elsewhere. And so what is then really important is that because we're not only operating in a North American reality, we need to be extremely productive. And we know we can be because our auto workers win year after year the prizes for the quality of their work. But not only that, we have to be extremely how can I say, we have to be at the forefront of the latest technology.
Okay, I got some videos there for our Canadian friends. Hopefully
it's been
come across some more this week. We got 3 more short ones, and I'm going to do the 38-minute one with News Force. That's going to be a big video, you guys, I think. Oh, this is the one from the other day. I can't play it. Dang it. Okay, we'll get to DJ. We got... Oh, wait. Flying Eagle, did we play this one yet? This one's under 7.
This is breaking news. Just a couple days ago, Gavin Newsom, look at, he's going to start laying tracks, building the future. He's talking about the high-speed rail. Oh, perfect. Governor the Gangster Newsom.
It says 15
Governor
hours.
the Gangster Newsom. Governor, this is from his desk. Governor Newsom announces major high-speed rail milestone track installation to begin. Oh, Governor the Gangster Newsom. Yeah, he's ready. Go, Governor. I'm a contractor. I build stuff. I build power plants, high rises, drill for oil, build homes. I know how it works. Basically, here's the thing I want to lay down to you. In 1997, China, at roughly the same time that Gavin and California began their concept and design of high-speed rail. Okay. China, in 11 years, from concept to design to approval to construction to completion, that's phase 1. In 11 years, they completed 1,700 miles of high-speed rail, and they were moving people. Starting in 1997, by 2008, they had 7 1,700 miles of high-speed rail completed, and they were moving people. Only took 11 years. They were moving people on high-speed rails across 1,700 miles in China by 2008, 11 years. Stay with me. The next phase, phase 2, there were actually several phases more than that. But by 2025, China had completed an additional 29,000 miles of high-speed rail. Let me basically put this to you. This all started about the same time as Gavin Newsom, or not Gavin, but the high-speed rail here in California began its construction. By 2025, China, in the same amount of time, from 97 to 2025, it now has 31,000 miles of high-speed rail completed, and they're moving roughly on an average of 15 million people every single day on that system. More importantly, stay with me. China completed phase 2 and the other phases of 29,000 miles of high-speed rail starting roughly in early 2009, okay? By 2025, they had completed 29,000 miles from concept to design to approval to construction and completion. Stay with me. That means from early 2009 to 2025, that's roughly 17 years, give or take, right? Okay. They were laying basically 1,700 miles of track in that 17-year period every single year. 1,700 miles of track every single year in phase 2 and 3 from 2009 to 2025. That's roughly 16, 17 years. Listen to me very carefully. The Chinese people were constructing in phase 2 and 3 and et cetera, the next 29,000 miles.
Everyone,
they were laying roughly 5 miles of track every
I got a
single
big video, 2
day.
big videos I'll be playing.
That means
Karen.
they had to put the concept together, where it was going to go, how it was going to be built, everything. Design it, get approval, construct it, and complete it by 2025. They now have 31,000 miles of high-speed rail completed, and they're moving roughly 15 million people a day on average. When phase 2 was completed, the extra 29,000 miles, during that time, the whole from soup to nuts, concept, design, construction, completion, they were laying, and I'm repeating myself, they were laying almost 5 miles of track every single day. And track, you just can't put it anywhere. You've got to put it on its own infrastructure. It's basically its base, a concrete base where the track sits on, not on the ground. More importantly, Gavin Newsom California started at the same time. Gavin Newsom took over, whatever, it doesn't matter. He just announced he's going to start laying track. Gavin Newsom hasn't laid 1 foot of track in 16 years in the concept. Since basically in 2008, it was most, I guess you might say 2009, 2010, when the whole concept and design was approved. So for the last 15, 16 years, they've been trying to build or lay track. Gavin Newsom and his buddies have not laid 1 foot of track until they started just a couple of days ago. Major announcement. They're going to start laying tracks. You do the math. It's not hard to figure out.
That guy's got good intel on TikTok. He's a new one. Found her a while back. Okay, guys, we got the big first video, 38 minutes, our news force. Karen, you'll like this one, and the other one will play if you stay.
It's Wendy from News Force, and I'm popping in because we have some action I need to talk to you guys about. We've got Cuba, some bombs of 5.5 slammer jammers, and our orange screen is going nuts. And because our orange screen goes away pretty quick here as the sun comes up, let's go right over to the orange screen so we can talk about it. In case you don't know what an orange screen is, you are looking at the map right now. This is our map that shows us when the military is placing into the ionosphere a clean piece of paper. It's almost like a piece of paper. And they just cover it up so that direct energy weapons cannot get through while they're doing military operations. We call it an orange screen because that's the color it appears to be when they use this type of military action. It prevents, like I said, it prevents direct energy weapons from getting through. They also use it to bounce off of when they're sending direct energy weapons too. Both sides can use it right now. The deep state and the white hats, both black and white, have control over it, just like HARP, our weather. Both sides have control, but we have about 76% control over our weather as it stands right now, last being reported to me. Unfortunately, we cannot get rid of HARP until we're done battling it out with the deep state. As far as the orange screen goes, we have some action down in Cuba. I want to take a look at Cuba real quick, and then we're going to pop over to our 5.5 blast. All right, let's go on down. So here's Cuba just south of Florida. Let me see what color my palette is. It's red. Perfect. So here's Florida, and here is Cuba. These circles that you see that are dark, okay, are what we call orange screens. And they're thrown up. They can be put up as fast as they can be taken down. They can move around. Whatever they need to use it for, they'll use it in action. And as you can see, we have down in Cuba a lot of orange screens up. I'm pointing this out because I have not seen an orange screen up over Cuba in a very, very long time, guys. So we have action going on in Cuba with the military. We've been told recently we were coming in, we were going to go ahead and finish up cleaning them up so their country can be free from the dumbs down underneath and the crimes against humanity of using humans for adrenochrome and also using humans for satanic sacrifices. There's a lot behind this, guys, and if you want me to go into some more detail, I definitely will, but we're going to stick to the weather and what's going on right now. As we've heard, all right, Trump went in and took over Venezuela, okay, Mexico, and now he is moving to Cuba. In my opinion, the Trump portion of it is not necessarily a good thing, okay? But we do need to get rid of these dumbs down underneath. Deep underground military bases have to go. They were all being used by Satanists. They were all being used for very horrible things against humanity, and they all have to go. So let's go in and zoom in on our orange screen this morning. Take a look. We're going to pop up there to Florida, and we're going to move right around. We're going to stick to the orange screen for right now because, like I said, we've got about 20 minutes, and it's going to disappear until this afternoon. For some reason, when the sun comes up, It does not allow us to have that visual on the screens for about 4 to 6 hours. It just depends. All right, let's zoom in, guys. All right, we're going down into Cuba here. We're going to note, let's see here if it'll give me any. 1 second, guys. I did this quick. Let me throw my glasses on here. All right, let's see. All right, we have A4 highway. All right. This orange screen is bumped right up against it, and it's dropping right down on this aisles of I'm not sure Javerta. I can't pronounce it. You guys know. If you know me and you've seen my reports, you know I stink at Spanglish. Okay. So you could see it's that line is right there going onto the island of Wentude. All right, let's shift and come on down. All right. So I see the snap. Here's the snap point out in the ocean for this one. Okay, there's your snap point. All right, we've got that. Let's come on back in here and let's see here where it stops. Whoops. There we go. All right. So you can see that they've got a pretty much a good shot between right smack in the middle of the island. And they are definitely, if you know, there are submarine action everywhere underneath the land and the oceans. If you're not familiar, there are submarine tunnels underneath us everywhere. So we just stay on land and then we have to go on a boat in order to go out in the water. They go everywhere. So especially Minnesota, down underneath Minnesota, we're talking a lot about Minnesota right now. And you wonder why the Somalis picked that well out. Just to the west of, let's use this map and go on up there. Let's go what I'm talking about. I'm just giving an example. These tunnels are everywhere, folks. All right. So here's Minnesota. All right. And we have Rochester. Just getting closer so some things will pop up. We have Rochester right here. And if you know, Minnesota is a huge farming industry, huge, especially out in through here going north. All right. All this area is all huge farmland. Well, it's not really farmland. The farmland's just the cover up, just like Walmart's the front for A113, which is adrenochrome. Okay. And now that I've said that, I won't be able to YouTube this, but oh well. You know me, I like to throw down how it is. That's why my main place, News Force, is on Telegram. If I can't say it the way I want to say it, I ain't going to say it at all. Okay. With that being farmland, it kind of is not. There are tunnels. There are submarine tunnels, and they run all over the place, guys, all over the country. All right. All over the country. So what you see is not what's really going on. That's why I call it a Walmart front. You go in to get paper towels from Walmart. You think they're making a profit off of the towels, and that's all they're making. No, you're the front. Going in to get the paper towels and checking out is the front for A113, which is what Walmart has always sold, linked into Hillary Clinton with the evergreen containers out on the barges and the ships. Okay, it's all about the adrenochrome. Okay, all about the adrenochrome. Okay, so let's pop over now that we're looking at Cuba here. I see a double screen, so we got ourselves a double screen here. Rio, let me come in closer. Rio Cotro and Rio Cotro. Oh, goodness. Cato. Rio Cato. I struggle with Spanglish. Never said I was good at it. We've got a double screen up, okay? And that can mean several things. That can mean, because it's so exact in the shape of it, it's definitely both screens are military. So we have two screens going on here. Some serious action, and it comes out into the water most of the time, like these up here or this one here. They come out into the water and land because they're submarines. That's why I was telling you about that, how you'll see it on land and on water. All right, so with the action going on to liberate Cuba, let's jump over and see what happened here. We are just going to take the chance that that orange screen is going to disappear because this is too important of a dumb. First of all, it was a 5.5. That speaks volumes, okay, in our world. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. 8888, okay, guys? I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. If you know, you know for right now. I was not expecting to have to jump on this report this morning, but it's just too important because it's Cuba right now. Definitely huge, and I've got dogs waiting and stuff for breakfast. So maybe I'll try and jump on later on and go into some more definition of why these double numbers are so important in the world of Satanism. And of course, now we're using their numbers back on them. Two things you could do to help yourself out if you're not familiar with what I'm saying is you can go watch Back to the Future. Okay. If you've never seen Back to the Future, don't even bother with my reports because they're telling the truth in that. Get on over there and take a look at Back to the Future, and it'll definitely explain a lot to you. There is so much truth in movies, guys. That would be the place we should start calling it the documentary section. It should be flipped. It should not be put into the fictional section, but non-fictional section for sure, in my opinion. All right, let's go on down and take a look-see. There's Cuba. Here's our dumb 5.5. All right, that is not by accident. All right, let's go on in close. All right, so we have just to the south of Barcoa, okay, to the south and a little bit to the east, we have our dumb. Let's click on it. All right, guys, take a look at that. The military speaking to us. Look at that, guys. 10 km. If you don't know why I celebrate 10 km so much, and we all do, that is the main tunnels down underneath that go throughout the world. 10 kms are the main tunnels. It's kind of like I-95 corridor going down Florida, and then the turnpike coming across it and all the other roads. It is the main through traffic way. If you've ever been on a ship and you've ever sailed, okay, on a ship, they call way downstairs in the lower levels where all the traffic goes through for bringing all the stuff on and off. They call it the I-95. All right, we're calling a 10 km the I-95 of the world of submarines, tunnels, that kind of stuff. Okay, like that. So it is absolutely celebratory. I couldn't wait to show you guys. This is huge for Cuba. When I say a main, we know that they got all the veins around it, and it was time to go ahead and blow up the very first section that was created. That is why it's celebratory. Okay, so many children in these tunnels, so many horrible things they did down there. I would absolutely blow your mind, and you would call me a liar if I began to rack off everything that was going on underneath your feet. Okay, way advanced, far past your mind of what you can imagine. You'd probably be sick and pass out the first 10 minutes if you're not used to this world. Now, if you're a 5-deer and you're used to this world, you're like, yeah, Wendy, keep going. Okay, so they are ruling this as Maisie Cuba. All right, guys, Maisie Cuba. All right. Oh, it's just so awesome. I love it. Very cool. I cannot say enough how fast I felt a burst of energy when I saw this morning to show you guys. All right, let's go in close, take a look. All right, let's get this off of here and let's go in closer. So, let's see here, get some names of these cities. Cohobo and Rio Seco and Yuko, maybe. All right. You guys are all pretty close to that dumb. And if you notice, if you know about the plates and tectonics underneath us and structure, this actually is a drop-off shelf. I always talk about shelves. These dumbs love to be just on the outside, just on the inside. All right. And that is for the submarine action. That's for easy access between the land, the water. All right. Let's just zoom down on it anyways, even though we're not going to see anything. Just awesome. So you can just see right out there. These dumbs, guys, don't think these dumbs are like little tiny, especially a 10 km. Little tiny, oh, here's a dumb, no, the dumb's holy in trueness. Let me pull out. I'm going into great detail this morning because for anybody that doesn't understand, guys, people are waking up like crazy and they're coming in and asking questions. So I really went into a lot of detail this morning for the newbies. And welcome if you're new to our world. News Force is the perfect place for you to be. We have over in our News Force Warriors, which is our chat, a lot of educated people that will help you fast if you start throwing down questions. So feel free to go over there and throw down. And I very much watch News Force Warriors. You can put up questions there, and I'll definitely answer you to the best of my ability, guys. So I see there is some reports. That's what this blue shaking is from that. And we probably more will show up as the reports come in. A 5.5 at 10 km, they should be feeling it up here in Florida. But truthfully, guys, volcanoes and earthquakes has been struggling with their maps because as you can see, they've changed mapping systems to upgrade, but they've been struggling and have not been real accurate lately. And that's a part of why I haven't been on. You know me, if I can't be spot on, I'm not going to bring it to you like that. All right, let's see if we can click in on some of this. Now, recently I'm having trouble clicking in on the shaking. It has not been giving me it, but let's see if it does. There we go. Okay, so this lady here, let's go on in close, or gentleman. This is being reported from Jamaica. Weak shaking. She felt it in her bed. I'm sure she did with the 5.5. Just wham, slammer jammer. All right, guys, I'll do the best I can with the streets here. Angel Boza Street and Combat Street. All right, those are our crossroads. Let's see who reported it. All right, it's one of these two guys here. It's either this house here or it's this house here, is my guess. And she felt the bed shaking. It feels very, very, very similar to like if you were on a boat and it's kind of wavy, really fast wavy, like that is what it feels like. All right, let's come on back out and see if we can see some more shaking. All right, let's go on over here, guys. All right. Reparto. The city is Reparto Umbero. Oh, I've heard of that before. Okay. Let's come on in close. Where'd our shaking go here? There it is. So it's off of Cali 6. Interesting. 6, guys, right? And let's see if we can get a street name. And Cali 7. Interesting. Crossroads of 6 and 7. All right, let's see what she had to say. She or he. Come in closer on this. Light shaking being reported, guys. Okay. Light shaking, she's reporting. It's good people get up because that also does something else for us. The shaking indicates to us which direction the direct energy weapon came in from in order to strike the dome. So now we know this is ocean. You're not going to have a lot of people reporting, but we do have somebody reporting down at Port-au-Prince. Okay. Well, we have 2 people reporting. So what we can see, we also have somebody reporting over here, but we don't have anybody in Haiti here. Let's pull this back out so I can show you what I'm talking about. Oh, yes, we do. All right. And the Turks have people reporting. So, all right, I'm going to say they went spot on. They went dead on, straight down with this dumb and just boom, blew that sucker to smithereens. And every time we do that, the deep state takes one more last breath. We do have some action in the United States, most definitely. Let's just stick here before I get ahead of myself here. I just wanted to show you the dumb action going on down because we're talking so much about Cuba right now. A lot of the words that they use in the news media, especially the mainstream media, they'll use words like they'll say, oh, 7 people were shot. They'll use a gun to their advantage and use a false flag and say 7 people were shot, when really we ended up taking out 7 other people, and it's a code, so to speak. All right, the British Virgin Islands seems to still be pretty active too. We have quite a few dumbs going off there. We don't have any on land today, but as you can see, we have quite a few. They're going to be there for quite a while, guys. They've been there for quite a while. This whole area was really, really bad. Of course, what area wasn't? Okay, you show me an area that wasn't. They invaded like it was an ant pile. It was like roaches that come in and take over a house and nobody does anything about it. Leaves their food all over the place, and like that. It's like a house like that. Once they're there, there's a lot to clean up. So very, very active. Of course, we have our war zone over here we're going to touch on for just a minute. Here's the squeeze zone of what I call our war zone, which is from Guatemala.
Everybody likes her.
To Mexico City. All right, right in through here. So we're still pretty active in through there. All right, let's come back out. Let's head over to the orange screen, back over to the orange screen before it disappears so we can talk about some action going on there. Oh, good. It's still up. Yes. All right, let's just climb up. We might as well go ahead and just climb up the continent here and go straight into Florida. Now, I've been watching. This is Lake Okeechobee, guys. And they have been active for almost a month over Okeechobee, but I haven't seen this much action. So they must be finishing up with whatever they're doing in that area, guys. Lake Okeechobee was really bad. Really, really bad. All right, underneath the water. That water was there as a cover-up. One moment, I just want to take some water. My apologies. And as you can see, there are multiple orange screens. We're going to count them out. Let's do that. So Okeechobee is just to the west of Port St. Lucie, West Palm Beach area, which you can see here. All right. Let's count them out here. So we have 1, 2, 3. So these would be all 4s. 4, 4, 4. All right. And this area right here, hang on, let's go in close, would be 5. Okay. So we would count this as 5 because we have these right underneath it. So this would be some serious action. They're concentrated on, let's see here. I wish they would give me a town. Glasses back on.
KKK.
Just to the south of Holy Land Wildlife Management Area. Okay. Coming in closer. So we have the Miami Canal and, of course, the Everglades. There's really not much out there, guys, except for alligators to cover up what's really going on down underneath. So keep your eyes peeled on Okeechobee as it has come into alive again, and they're doing a lot of work in that area, this stretching out clear past Miami out into the ocean. And that's several layers. That's 3 layers going on there. So Miami, you can expect that This morning is going to be one thing, and by the time you go to lay your head down, that area will be a totally different thing. They use these orange screens also while they're catching bad guys, because this deep state will try and take them out when they're targeting pedos, when they're targeting adrenochrome freaks, that kind of stuff. Look at all this action, folks. Look at it all. All right. And you can see here, now we know South Carolina and North Carolina has been getting hit with the snow and stuff like that and the bad weather. And you can clearly kind of see why. All right. With all the action going on. It looks like here, let's take this one. Look at this, guys. Look at that concentrated action by our military. Look at that. Let's count it out. All right. So it's Florence. It's to the west and to the north of Florence, guys. Here's 95 cutting through here. All right. And here's your divider here for the two states. Carolina Sandhills National Wildlife Refuge. You know, what's interesting is that it's always in these wildlife, these forests. Okay, there's a reason for that. They pretty much own it all and they want to control it, so they make it national forest because all the nefarious things that go on. I do see a body of water where they can easily do their action and get it in transport easily too with this right here near Green Hill. All right, let's count it out here. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just make sure. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Oh, it's not going to let me come in closer this morning. Wow. Look at that, you guys. It stretches all the way out into the ocean. And your snap point is right here. I can already see it. I'll take you in closer. Oh, maybe. Yep. There's your snap point right there. Okay, for the whole thing. The snap point does not begin on this end. So just to the north, we have some more action. Here, Fayetteville to the west of Fayetteville. Here's Fort Bragg, guys. All your military bases that you think are for what they are not for what they are. Okay. And again, I wish I had more time to go into some detail for you. Let's pull out and just run around a little bit. Just see some of these. Let's come on in down into Texas here to this one, Lake Jackson, just south of Galveston. All right. We got some action going on right there. Anything up our coastline? No. All right. We got a double there. We also have this one here down to the north of Belpam. All right, guys. It's a triple. All right. Let's pull back out here. And feel free to come back to the maps if you want to take a look at some of these. All right, we've got some doubles and triples near Columbus. Look at this action here. There you go. Look at that action. Oof-da. Yeah, come on back to the map, guys. I'm shocked it's still up. Usually it's not up anymore. Let's see across the nation here if there's any more. California has none right now. I'm shocked at that. And guys, as we watch football today, please just take a moment to remember the children that are sacrificed and killed and tortured during these football games. Football games are a cover-up for what the elites really do on the day of Super Bowl. It's a very exciting day, like Christmas morning for the elites during Super Bowl Sunday. So please just take a moment and have the children in your thoughts that we have not gotten to that will be sacrifices today. All right, let's just go down here and see. Okay, take a look at this. All right, so this is our war zone right here. All right,
let's we're under 10 minutes, guys.
Look at that action, guys.
We'll go back to doing
now, Salina Cruz all the way to
videos, 5.
We do have railways, if
Save
you
the
can
big one
believe it,
for
that
last.
run through here that are very controversial, and there's a lot of action going on with choo-choo trains. Definitely be looking that up. And here's your triangle. I'm going to call this the Bermuda Triangle of what's going on right now. Okay. And so you can see that's some good action. So we have the 1 and the 2 screens. Let's go in close. So we have 3. And the crisscrossies make it 4 and 5. Okay. So
Hey,
very
Maria.
concentrated action going
Hey,
on
just
there.
got in.
And of course, as always, on and off the land like that. All right, guys, pull back out here. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about for Super Bowl Sunday and stuff like that, I will attach the recording I did, the visual and audio recording that I did to explain about football being connected to Satanism. And that's really the only reason why it exists. Nothing's here for us, guys. Nothing. Please excuse me, guys. My allergies have been acting up. Just something horrible. All right. So let's just pick 2 more dumbs to look at. So since we've got the action in South and North Carolina here. Oh, where'd that dumb go?
Yep, welcome.
There it
Deb.
is.
I got a lot more
With the
still to
snow and
come.
stuff, and we've got our orange screens up. We also have a dumb. Let's go on and close. Charleston, near Charleston. Somerville. Take a look at all those reports and let's take a look at it, what it was. Okay, it was a 2.9, not too bad. I believe they're lying about that 2.9 because if it is at a depth of 5 km, I guess, yeah, because you would double it. So yes, definitely people would be feeling a 2.9, a 3.0 at only 5 km for sure. So I take that back. Centerville, South Carolina, you were the ones. So let's go in close and just take a look at this dump and where it was located at.
Yeah,
Well, it looks like it's going to be in
6
someone's backyard. Millbrook Circle, if you live off of Millbrook Circle, and Runnymede Lane. You are the bullseye. Today, we are a much safer place for this dump going off. So there you go. It's in the tree line. Tree line of the backyard of someone's house. Nice little dummy there that we got rid of. Awesome, awesome. Let's click on the closest action of reports. Light shaking was reported. Oh, that is not a report. Over here, the neighbors heard a loud, prolonged boom and felt the ground shake for 10 to 20 seconds, guys. Wow. Okay. At a 3.0, it sure seems like we should up it a little bit, maybe to a 3.5, possibly a 4 at that depth for it to be felt this much. Okay, guys. So we got the church across the street here from this person reporting Episcopalian Church. I always like to point that out. Got an elementary school near that dumb. Okay, everything they need to do their action. All right. And if you want to come back on and click on some of this reporting, this is volcanoes and earthquakes right here, guys. Right here. Go on over to your app store and load it on in so you can come on personally and take a look at each and every day for yourself at what's going on. Let's see. I wish I could get your voice for which one you would like to do. Of course, midway over here, this area right here is still quite active, guys. Still going 2 years plus after those tornadoes and that night we had to fight so hard against FEMA in order to reclaim the land, in order to continue our work. And you can see it's been about 2 years and we're still in action there. All right, let's go out here to the latest outside of Death Valley out in Ridgecrest out in California. We'll do this last dumb here, and then I need to go and tend to the things for this morning. All right, guys, 21, it looks like, let me pop this up here. So 4 km, that was at, oh, it was a piddly little firecracker. It's like somebody lighting a match. 0.7 deep, but still, it counts. They all count. Let's just go on in and see where that's at. Now, take a look at the other dumps coming up around it. Look at that, almost in a perfectly straight line. Right, like that. They all connect. They all connect, and you can see it right on these maps, how they connect. Yeah, right out in the middle of nowhere, guys. That's a big nothing burger for taking a look at it being underneath somebody's house. That's always fun when it's underneath somebody's house and it's a 10 km. They're like, oh my God, they reported that they felt it and it was just awful. Let's zoom across the world here. Yeah, let's go up here real quick before I end. Let's go up here to Ireland and see how well they're doing. Okay, they're still pretty. I'm sorry, Iceland. Iceland, they're still pretty active, guys. They just started up when Trump started to talk about Greenland. That's when they started up blowing up dumbs on Iceland. So Greenland's really quiet. There's no action there. And of course, Africa, the only thing they blow up anymore because they're clean. Africa, you're so clean underneath your feet. There's no more nefarious things going on. The only ones that pretty much blow up in Africa is 10 kms. I'm assuming it's because of the areas it would connect to when they take care of other areas, and then they come on back, circle back for the 10 kmers. So I'll just give you a look across. All right. You guys will want to definitely come back. If I can get back on later, I will for you guys, because I'd like to talk to you guys about Japan and Taiwan, Thailand, that kind of stuff, and what's going on. You can see Japan, it's really slowed down a lot. You just about couldn't read it about a month ago. There was so much action. So we're doing a good job getting it cleaned up and letting them look like we look, or like Africa looks. So we're coming right along, guys. Not doing half bad, huh? Of course, up there in Alaska, we're doing pretty good
here,
too. Almost looks like a straight line these days after
What do
we
you
took
think of
out
this
at an
meeting?
8.8 out here on the peninsula, Russian peninsula. After that 8.8, they've been just going to town straight across and taking care of the dumbs like this. So there you have your report this morning. I hope you enjoyed.
Okay, that was our news force lady. We haven't heard in, I think, a couple months. She hasn't been out. Time for some short ones, and then we got that big interview with Captain Kyle and one guy that does 10 minutes on Telegram, the one that Kay likes. He's in the video there, Gabe, they did last night. I got photo shots I think I'm going to share. I think. There you go. We got, this says, stop it. I'm already in trouble with the wife. It said on the bottom. Okay, this is the photo that I was telling you yesterday. Karen, the biggest, or Texas Lone Star Medbed's Command Center, the biggest state demanded the biggest facility. Texas delivered. Top universities ranked of the mentions in the Epstein files. Oh, wow. Michigan's in there, and Arizona is in there. I guess that is. And is that what you were saying? Earlier, Maxwell and Samantha Guthrie was on there in that paragraph. So I think I got all the list here. We'll get going on the videos again. So this was sad last night, you guys.
Take a look at this as we are still following the latest regarding U.S. Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn, as Fox News today tweeting out, breaking Olympic icon Lindsey Vonn crashed during the women's alpine downhill event at the Winter Games after suffering a ruptured ACL earlier this week. Emergency crews transported her off the mountain by helicopter. Want to put up here on your screen some footage of the Olympic skier as we follow more of the reporting and details on this incident from earlier today. The Associated Press saying this, that Lindsey Vonn crashed early in the women's downhill, dashing hopes of an Olympic medal at the Milan Cortina Olympics today. The 41-year-old American tore the ACL in her left knee just 9 days ago. Vonn lost control over the opening traverse after cutting the line too tight and was spun around in the air. She was heard screaming out after the crash as she was surrounded by medical personnel before she was strapped to a gurney and flown away by a helicopter, possibly ending the skier's storied career. The Associated Press has been providing live updates as we follow these developments, so I'm going to read to you a couple of the blurbs that they have on their article. They say that a mandatory safety airbag inflated under Vonn's racing suit during the crash. The supplier of that airbag confirmed to the Associated Press. The airbag, which is triggered by a complicated algorithm when racers lose control, may have softened her fall. Scrolling through here, more of this reporting, and going back to this, the Olympic legend was attempting to medal in the event despite that devastating knee injury she suffered while at the World Cup. She made clear in subsequent social media posts that her ACL was, quote, 100% gone. An ACL tear normally involves a recovery that lasts about a year, but Vonn planned to fight through it. She made a stunning comeback to the sport last year after nearly 6 years away from competition. Her return followed a partial titanium replacement inserted into her right knee, which she had in 2024. The Team USA legend is the second most successful woman in World Cup history with 84 wins. She has won 8 World Championship medals. Vaughn won a gold medal in the downhill and a bronze medal in the Super G at the 2010 Vancouver Olympic Games and a bronze medal in the downhill at the 2018 Games. And she hoped to add to her collection in Italy today. She was set to compete in the women's Super G as well, but the crash may very well keep her out of that event. We're still waiting to get more details on Vaughn's condition at this time, but this is what we know so far based on several outlets that have been reporting on this story. As a U.S. Olympic skier, Lindsey Vonn had to be airlifted after crashing in the Olympic downhill event. Any more developments, we'll bring them to you here at Live.
That was a sad, yep, she was a good one.
That Trump made, where the beginning was really EBS looking colors, right? And then you think about the Super Bowl logo. If you haven't seen that, the logo is very colorful. So I'm seeing it in 2 different kind of ways. You know, I see people like, oh man, the EBS is going to go off. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. We don't forecast things like that. If you know what I'm saying, the operation. But hold on a second. So you'll see that there at the top, that is the logo with all the colors in it, right? Okay. And then you got the EBS, that's the EBS, whatever, the colors when it goes off. And then on the right, you have, would you believe it? A couple comms. So hold on. So now what's crazy is the dates. 2/8/2018. That's a delta to today. Today's the 8th, the Super Bowl. And it says United States Secret Service on high alert. Okay. Then it says, do people believe all recent, what's it say, resignations, plane crashes, etc., EMS, EBS, and blackouts are just simply a coincidence? So remember, all the blackouts that you had all the servers, CrowdStrike, all those little things, they're not coincidences. They're tests by the evil. And they test them out in small ways to make sure when the overall plan works, a cyber attack, a grid shutdown, communication blackout, they're ready to go. So that being said, maybe we're getting some comms or not. The thing I could think with the colors is, man, financial. Think of the Wizard of Oz. Yellow brick road, all the colors. Yeah, okay. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let's see what happens during the Super Bowl tonight. I'm not watching Bad Bunny, period.
Latest on him. Latest update on another video from that Samantha's mom. This one's 6 minutes.
Clearly, there is something happening over there. We don't know exactly the nature of it. What can you tell us from your vantage point?
Hi, Kevin. I can set the scene here for you. About an hour and a half ago, we had a sheriff's deputy come up, park in front of the home. That caught everyone's attention. Now, not too long ago, within the last 20 minutes or so, we saw an unmarked vehicle with law enforcement drive up. The 2 spoke, they got back in their cars, and then we saw yet a 3rd member of law enforcement walk up. 3 people walked to the back, 2 to 3 people walked to the back, and you can see them now. And they are what our drone team is describing to us. The Fox flight team is describing this as possibly a manhole. I heard Jonathan say that it could be some sort of water drainage. Either one of those is possible. We're not quite sure. But they've been poking around in there almost like they're looking for a sample of some sort. Looking into this area. We've been kept back just a bit, actually. Usually when they have some sort of activity here at the site of Nancy Guthrie's home, we're often pushed back. The media is pushed back so they can do their job. Clearly, they're not concerned about that right now because we've all been allowed to stay as law enforcement continues its work to the back. Kevin?
Let me ask you about the searches that were happening, Alicia, Saturday over at the home of Annie Guthrie. Have you heard anything about the nature of those searches?
Everything we've gotten has been from our Fox Digital team. They were on site when about 4.5 hours after Savannah Guthrie and her siblings released that most recent video. They arrived at that home. They were there for about 2.5 hours. And according to our Fox team on the ground there, they could see, they could hear clanking of some noise being made. They could also see in the garage area what seemed to be flashes of light coming from a camera. And then they noticed in another whole opposite side of the house, we don't know if it was a bedroom, but it was definitely a different room. They started seeing flashing lights, camera flashes, they assumed as well. They also noticed that someone inside the home put up something to cover the window, probably as to, to keep the media from knowing exactly what they were doing. They were in there for quite some time, Kevin. Also, one of the agents was seen walking out. He had latex gloves on. They had a white folding table. They also carried out, one of the agents, a brown paper bag. We obviously don't know what's in it, but when you look at those types of behaviors and what law enforcement was doing there for so long, the family wasn't there, we understand. The question is, was this evidence collection? Because the behaviors there, if you go back to any other case that you've covered, Kevin, you and I both, that looks and sounds a lot like evidence collection. As Jonathan mentioned, the sheriff's department reiterates, just as this is happening, that they will not be holding a news conference, that they won't be coming forward with any new information at this time. They still don't have a vehicle of interest, and they still don't have a person of interest. However, there is a tremendous amount of evidence collection going on. Obviously, there is a tremendous amount of activity happening as well. We have not had a news conference from the sheriff of Pima County since Thursday.
And I understand if the pictures were accurate, that apparently someone in leadership over there was at a basketball game, which is probably not the best look for the department, but I'm not certain if that's actually been verified. But let me ask you while we have you, Alicia, I know that local news has been a bit of a repository for information regarding alleged demands, alleged requests made. Is that also happening in local Spanish TV, to your knowledge? And what, if anything, can we glean from the fact that the alleged abductors continue to be working at least somewhat to get the word out to local media?
It is interesting, isn't it, Kevin? Because obviously the kidnapping of Savannah Guthrie, an NBC News star, her mother, was going to garner national attention. And whoever's behind this decided to reach out to, as far as we know, 2 local TV stations here in the Tucson area, in addition to TMZ. They did not reach out to NBC, the employer of Savannah Guthrie. So only the person who's done this knows what the thinking is behind that, why those 2 local stations. There were other stations here. You asked about Spanish language. I cannot answer that question. I do not know. But it is compelling. And one of the stations received yet a second note. They did not release it to the public. They did tell us, though, one of their hosts went on one of the other networks and said that that note did not contain proof of life. It did not contain another deadline. And they really didn't go into much more detail.
Yeah, and that's the part that obviously the family is so desperate to see. We want to see proof of life so that, and again, they said in the video that we played, listen, we'll pay. We just want Nancy back. Stay on it for us, Alicia Acuna. We appreciate your time.
Hey, it's Will Kane.
Okay, that's the latest update. Mississippi River news.
Due to the current drought the country is facing, the unusually low water levels of the river have caused barges to get stuck in mud and sand. It's also triggered waterway restrictions from the Coast Guard.
October 17th, 2024. Images from NASA's Terra satellite confirmed that America's worst nightmare had become reality. The Mississippi River, the commercial lifeline that moves $700 billion in goods each year, was slowly transforming into a dead and treacherous expanse of mud. Every day, 200 billion gallons of water were vanishing without obeying any known natural law. It was not evaporating. It was not flowing into the ocean. It was simply disappearing into nothingness. While the nation was being calmed by the familiar narrative of a historic drought, a very different truth was taking shape deep inside the highest levels of government. Classified data pointed to a conclusion far more disturbing. This was not a natural disaster. It was an anomaly, one that defied everything we thought we understood about how this planet works. The illusion of drought. When the first images of the exposed riverbed in Memphis appeared on evening news broadcasts, the public response was a weary sigh of resignation. This was a familiar script, a warming planet, erratic rainfall,
what do you guys think of
rivers running dry.
Mississippi update.
It was a tidy story with a clear cause and effect, one that fit perfectly within the cognitive frame of climate change that the media had reinforced for years. At ports stretching from St. Louis to New Orleans, the pulse of the American economy began to falter. The Mississippi River is not merely water. It is a colossal industrial conveyor belt. It carries 60% of United States grain exports and forms the backbone of an agricultural sector worth tens of billions of dollars. When water levels at the gauges in Memphis fell below zero, threatening to break the all-time low set in 1988, the United States Coast Guard was forced to impose strict navigation restrictions. Barges designed to haul thousands of tons of crops now had to reduce their loads or shut down entirely. More than 1,800 barges lined up, stranded in mud and sand, creating a scene of inland waterway congestion never before witnessed. The explanation came swiftly and in unison. Television meteorologists pointed to deep red heat maps blanketing the Midwest and the American South. They spoke of flash droughts, heat-driven evaporation, and the El Niño cycle. It all sounded scientific and reasonable. The United States Army Corps of Engineers, the agency responsible for keeping the river navigable, began deploying dredging fleets to clear channels, a standard response to a standard problem. In the public mind, and among most observers, this was a natural disaster, difficult and costly, but natural. No one questioned the nature of the event. Water was not arriving from upstream, so the downstream ran dry. It was linear logic that even a child could follow. A false sense of calm settled over government meeting rooms and commodity trading floors. The belief was simple. Wait for autumn rains. Wait for snowmelt the following spring. The river would recover. It always had, for thousands of years. But beneath the surface of this consensus, inside raw data monitoring stations, the numbers were telling a very different story, one that did not follow the logic of drought, and certainly did not obey humanity's naive patience. The cause begins to emerge. The first crack in the perfect picture of drought did not appear on the river itself, but inside rainfall summary reports from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. As climate scientists began compiling data for the 2023 water year in preparation for spring forecast models, they encountered an anomaly that could not be ignored. Rainfall across the upper Mississippi River Basin, the vast region that collects water to feed the main channel, was not deficient. Rain gauges scattered across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois recorded an average total of 34.2 inches, roughly 87 centimeters. This was not the number of a flood year. More importantly, it was certainly not the number of a drought year. 34.2 inches sat squarely within the statistical average of the past 50 years. This data created a jarring contradiction with conditions downstream. In a closed hydrological system, the relationship between input and output obeys strict conservation of mass. If the amount of water entering the system through rainfall...
The Mississippi River, this is also...
Okay, that's an update from the Mississippi River we haven't done in a long time. So we got a Nick video, then Kay, that one lady on YouTube has, I think this one might be another funny one. We'll play it and see how it goes.
or so files that were released by the DOJ just found something that makes the official narrative impossible. And ladies and gentlemen, while this creates more questions than answers, at the very least, we can say for sure that somebody is lying to us. Now, there's already a lot of things that don't add up and have fueled the speculation that Epstein didn't, in fact, kill himself. Everything from guards not doing their regularly scheduled checks, cameras not working properly, and of course, we had the employee of the prison where Epstein was housed dumping on 4chan an allegation that they swapped his body out. And then we come to find out that that actually was an actual prison guard because the DOJ confirmed his identity and that he worked at the prison and was on shift at the time. We know that for a fact now. But the Daily Mail found something quite possibly even more damning than all of that. And by the way, what I'm about to show you, the DOJ has been questioned about it and they refuse to respond and give an answer. So check this out. Statement announcing Jeffrey Epstein's death emerges from the files, but it's dated a day before he killed himself. So this person is either Nostradamus and had a crystal ball and was able to predict his death a day in advance, or Jeffrey Epstein didn't actually die when they said that he died. So take a look at this, and it's not coming from just anybody. This document issued by the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York comes from a U.S. attorney working under Bill Barr at the time. And again, dated Friday, August 9th, 2019. We were told Jeffrey Epstein was found in his cell the morning of August 10th, 2019 at like 6:30 in the morning when a corrections officer delivering breakfast found him in his cell in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. Now take a look at the document. This is the receipt, folks, and you can see right here that it is dated Friday, August 9th, 2019, and this is an official statement from the United States Attorney's Office from the Southern District of New York. The U.S. Attorney's name was Geoffrey S. Berman. Now, this version of the statement was never actually released to the public, but it was found to have been drafted, approved, and dated before the day he actually died. So this was actually in the files dated August 9th and implies that the U.S. Attorney's Office had the death announcement ready to go the day before he officially died. And then the official release came the next day. It was the same exact document with the same exact words, but the date was August 10th. Now, skeptics are going to say that this was a typo, a draft version where they put the 9th instead of the 10th by accident. And let's say that is the case. Well, in that version of reality, you would have to be willing to believe that the U.S. attorney handling one of the most prolific pedophiles in world history's case for the Southern District of New York not only forgot the day of the month that it was, but also the day of the week, because they didn't just put August 9th in place of the 10th. They also got the day wrong because they put Friday, August 9th, 2019, when Jeffrey Epstein died Saturday, August 10th, according to the official narrative. Now, for the skeptics out there, I got something that's going to blow your mind. Check this out. So look down in the bottom left-hand corner of this document, and let me make it a little bit bigger for you. You see down there, 19-XXX. Well, I gave this document over to Google's AI, Gemini, and had Gemini take a look. And Gemini noticed something very, very peculiar about that 19-XXX code. So what that is a chronological tracking number, which the official Department of Justice press releases always get. They always get assigned a tracking number, okay? And in bureaucratic terms, according to Gemini, XXX is a placeholder, which means that the document was drafted and saved in the system, but it had not yet been assigned a tracking number. And so what this definitively proves is that this version of the document was a draft sitting in the queue. The XXX combined with the August 9th date proves this was a prepared statement sitting on someone's desktop waiting for the go signal that hadn't been given yet. Now it gets better, okay? We're not done here. It actually gets a lot better. So earlier this week, the newly DOJ files also contain additional details that investigators reviewed in the aftermath of Epstein's death, including surveillance observations from inside the facility. And according to the records, investigators from the FBI and Justice Department, the Office of Inspector General identified footage showing what appeared to be an unidentified figure moving toward the floor where Epstein was housed. And on that camera footage, they saw an orange-colored shape ascending a staircase in the vicinity of Epstein's housing unit during the overnight hours. Now, what were we all told? That Epstein hung himself. And with what, you might ask? Well, he hung himself apparently with this orange noose. So we have now documents that say that overnight there was a figure that was moving to the unit where Epstein was housed, essentially carrying this orange thing, this thing that he hung himself with, which appears to be a piece of a prison jumpsuit. So we have DOJ files that allege that the night before Epstein was found dead, somebody was walking up the steps to where he was housed carrying this. Now, it's very grainy, and I wouldn't bet the farm on this one, but here it is. This is the apparent screenshot of the surveillance footage where you can see a shadowy orange object moving up the stairs to Epstein's cell block at the New York prison at around 10:40 p.m. the night before he was found dead. Now, I'm not done yet. It gets even better, because with this new document being released from the U.S. Attorney's Office, dated the night before, actually corroborates this anonymous 4chan post from a supposed correctional officer at the facility where Epstein was housed. This was released on 4chan August 10th, 2019, the morning that he was supposedly found dead. And at the time, it was dismissed as a conspiracy theory. They wrote it off. They said this was fake. But now it's confirmed to have been legit, because the new DOJ files, they show that this post was investigated by the FBI. They documented it, and then they triangulated it back to one of the Metropolitan Correctional officers by the name of Roberto Grijalva. So this thing they said was fake turned out to be real and came from an actual correction officer that was there when Epstein reportedly died. And here's what he said August 10th, 6:45 a.m. Not saying anything after this, please. Do not try to dox me. But last night, after 4:15 count, they took him, medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. So the significance there is they took him out in a medical wheelchair, front cuffed, but none of the nurses spoke to him. So if he was having a medical issue, that would have been communicated to one of the triage nurses, but they all said they never spoke to him. Okay. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up, and we do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. So saying this is completely unprecedented. A van pulls up and they took him, but we don't do releases on the weekend unless there's a order from a judge. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell. So I guess they took him and then he comes back, or somebody came back, and they put him in a single man cell and he hangs himself. But here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number. And a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I am shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. So this is a legitimate post from one of the correctional officers that was there at the time that Jeffrey Epstein apparently died, saying that they took him out in a wheelchair. Next thing you know, he comes back and they put him in a single man cell, and then he hangs himself. And he thinks that they swapped the body out. Now, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole and you want to go balls deep into conspiracy land, there are people speculating that the body double that Epstein was swapped out with happened to be Tony Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brother. And he does kind of look like him. Hillary Clinton's brother died 2 months prior to when we were told that Epstein died. So maybe they had a lookalike on ice ready to go. I don't know, guys. But look, let's put all the pieces together here. We've got a draft press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office the day before Epstein died. We've got corroborated whistleblower testimony from a correctional officer who says he saw the bodies being switched out. And we have documents which show that the Inspector General investigated surveillance tapes which show somebody going up the steps to the unit where Epstein was housed, carrying what appears to be the very item that he hung himself with the night before he was reported to be dead. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sitting here saying I know what Epstein was up to. I don't understand exactly the blackmail operation. I don't really understand any of that stuff, but I do know for an absolute fact that we were lied to about Epstein's death. And there's a good chance the man is alive in Cuba somewhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, this new smoking gun evidence just adds to the pile as to all the reasons I don't believe anything that I see and half of what I hear regarding Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, that was another good one with Nick. Well, I'm going to hold off and see how it goes after I knew she was going to come out, okay? I knew it. I had 3 big videos today. It is 32 minutes.
Texas about 1 p.m. Some of the things we'll cover: the sun and the increase in murder, and what's going on with the Nancy Guthrie case.
I had to come out at 1 o'clock.
President Trump and Greenland, and also some updates on Russia, Iran, China, and so forth. So the sun continues to be quiet. We do have many large sunspots turning to face the Earth, and it's anticipated, it's likely we will see an increase in flares and sometime this week. Ben Davidson on his Space Weather YouTube site brought out an interesting white paper tying the increase in murder, and it appears for most of the Earth, murder does increase when there's an increase in solar activity, flares, except where the South Atlantic anomaly exists. We know it's currently over South America, believed to be splitting to cover Europe and Africa, and then move to the US. So a dip in the Earth's electromagnetic shield called the South Atlantic anomaly. There's a difference in the increase in murder rates in this area where there's a dip in the shield. Murder goes up when there's an increase in cosmic rays. So this is another indicator or measurement that law enforcement can use to look at space weather as an indicator. Will they see an increase in murder? We know, we've heard for years, when there's a full moon, all the crazies come out. So another indicator that space weather does impact human behavior. So what's going on? And we have this. Atlas now is in a trajectory to interact with Jupiter. So it's far away from the Earth, but it's put out a new type of behavior. It's putting out an
Hang on a second. We got some breaking news, you guys. Come back to that. We'll check and see what's going on here. Hey, next week, next Sunday is Daytona. He hasn't said nothing yet.
Yep.
Did you see the video? Someone posted the label? Where is that? Is that on the back of you?
I wanted to have that camera to go explore all this is set up. What? Yeah. Stay. What are you going to say? God.
Are they going to say something?
Right. Well, that's it. Midnight study. It's all about who you call it. Did someone go in? Who knows about it? Right. It does. Exactly. Yeah.
Somebody said it's not okay to drill anyway.
So, when I'm reading they found blood and DNA found, you guys. I think that somebody killed her. So we'll go back and doing Billy and Chico.
X-ray halo around Atlas. It extends out about 250,000 miles, believed to be an indicator of ignition. You know, many government, NASA, NOAA, JPL, the European Space Agency have ceased, I noticed, trying to sell the people on Earth that Atlas is a comet. Now, this is coming out from a government agency that this X-ray halo is around Atlas and could indicate ignition. So that's going on. Also, NASA has a polar satellite that's been, so around the Earth, we have in the Earth a dynamo. It generates an electric field and then a magnetic field and then an electric field. It's a dynamo. generates the Earth's electromagnetic shield that comes out at the poles. Well, NASA has a satellite called the Polar Satellite that's really designed to take information in the pole areas, and what they have detected is Earth radio signals, and they've had this information are escaping into space, going out from the Earth 120 light years. That's how far light can travel in 1 year. Historically, light speed is 186,000 miles per second. So how far can it travel in a year? Far. And 120 years? Yeah. Now, this was discovered in 1996, and hey, we were going to tell y'all. Okay, the government is going to tell us when they can no longer cover it up. So, yeah, this new information we've had since 1996. Yeah. But think about it. We've had on TV shows, I would say at least maybe in the 80s, certainly in the 90s, like these sci-fi shows, and they would pick up I Love Lucy shows being heard in space. So see, they're saying they picked it up in 1996, but hey, we saw that on TV much, much earlier than 1996. So that's what's going on. But yeah, our human radio signals, TV signals are being heard by the ETs out in space. We have this now from Eruptions Now. This is another indicator of the change in climate we are experiencing on Earth. I believe it's not human generated. I didn't buy that when I was first studying it in the 90s. It just didn't make sense. So that's largely been discredited.
So I'm not going to be able to play that hour and a half, 2 hour one. So I'm going to do this one. That will put us at, because I want to get a few more good ones out. I got like 4 or 5 more to get out.
Human activity does not impact our Earth. It can impact, certainly on a local level. You have a factory that's putting mercury into a river. Yeah, that's an environmental impact, local. But I'm talking about our layers of atmosphere above the Earth. Yeah, human activity does not impact that high up. And what we're having now on Earth is climate change, because we're seeing changes in space. We're seeing changes in our electromagnetic shield. Yes, we are having climate change. And it's also being put forth, and there does appear to be real science attached to that the Earth is tilting. So yeah, climate change, baby. Now, this is happening in California. So they have along their coastline, like mountains, and they have highways. One big highway is called Highway 1, Big Sur, that is now falling into the ocean as a result of climate change, bringing about atmospheric rivers. Now, we recall, we've heard from several sources, yes, we have climate change. Yes, our shield is becoming weaker, and it's letting in more particles of radiation from space. But these are also more particles, so they collect more water And our atmosphere now can hold 2 to 10 times the amount of water that it historically carried. That's why these atmospheric rivers are now hitting California from the Pacific Ocean side and taking down mudslides, highways, and so on. So that's going on. 40-foot walls of mud, a saturated soil, atmospheric rivers. Yeah. Hundreds of miles of the highway also have fallen into the ocean, big sinkholes, and many miles of Highway 1, Big Sur Highway, has washed away. So that's going on. And we have this. Yeah, Texas opens in America a visionary type plant. This opened in Midland, Texas.
Is that by you?
And it is to take oil field waste and process it to produce lithium and to be used for, lithium batteries and also to be used in national defense. So way to go, President Trump. And we have this. So President Trump last week, he raised tariffs on nations buying oil from Iran. Part of his takedown of Iran is to do it non-kinetically through taking down their economy, which impacted China, Turkey, and some other nations who were trying to buy shadow oil. And President Trump has also put forth a nominee to take Jerome Powell's place as head of the Fed in May.
Okay, I just found a video, you guys. Very important. It's not good. Okay. Ah. Dang it.
All right, guys, so I have some updates, including one breaking news update that have come out today regarding Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. This is the 6th day that Nancy Guthrie, which is Savannah Guthrie's mom, the 6th day she's been missing. Now, the first update, which is breaking news, is that allegedly there are currently 3 deputies at Nancy's other daughter, Annie's house. The one whose alleged husband/boyfriend, I'm not sure if they're married, but he was, according to Ashley Banfield, being looked at as a suspect, but law enforcement said he wasn't. That house. That's all we know. We don't know why they're there, but we know they're there. There's 3 deputies. We don't know if this means there's been a break in the case. We don't know if they've gotten new information. We don't know. Now, the second update is that according to reports, a car was towed away from Nancy's home. That was today on Friday, February 6th, hours after law enforcement swarmed her home. It was said the truck was towing a dark car and it was headed south with police escorts. Also, the road that leads to Nancy's home was blocked off earlier today on Friday afternoon, and anybody with the media or whatnot, anybody not with law enforcement had to leave. This was shortly after the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI confirmed they got a new message from her suspected kidnappers. I'll tell you about that new message in a minute. It's not known why the vehicle was removed from Nancy's property, though. All right, guys, so I have some updates.
Oh, crazy stuff, you guys. Crazy stuff. Now I gotta find Billy now again. Come on. God dang it.
President Trump has also put forth a nominee to take Jerome Powell's place as head of the Fed in May. And President Trump continues to say he wants the Fed to lower interest rates. The Pentagon has stopped all ties and money to Harvard. President Trump has put up a new website. It's called Trump RX. RX is a symbol for therapy, and this is to provide low-cost medications to American citizens. So President Trump's move in this direction is to take down Big Pharma. And we have this. President Trump is waiting 6 more days for Congress to end the funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Then, when it's no longer funded, he can restructure it. Way to go, President Trump. Part of the deal. And we have this. So we have an economist, Peter Schiff, talking about the U.S. stock market. So we see gold and silver going up. We see futures going up in gold 11%, silver 20%. We see many stock market, stock and bond holders on the stock market selling, not buying. We see many gold and silver mines inside the U.S., including Hecla, refusing to make delivery of physical gold and silver to the COMEX. The COMEX is I believe that's in Chicago, holds physical gold and silver. So that's going on. You can have paper silver, but not the real thing. And in China, Shanghai, the current rate for gold is $5,500 per ounce, silver $120 per ounce. Now let's recall. JP Morgan Chase moved their entire gold and silver and precious metals traders and their families from Chicago around Thanksgiving to Singapore. What did JP Morgan Chase know about gold and silver all the way back to Thanksgiving? Just saying. Okay, we have
a lot of good stuff. Yep, you got it all.
From Dr. Michael Sala, a recent interview of Laura Trump, married to President Trump's son, Eric, talking about President Trump may release information called disclosure about ETs and so on. I've seen one date to be July 8th, I believe. So we'll see. Now we have more information about Diego Garcia. Now we've been hearing about the Epstein impact. So we have Epstein papers. And Epstein put out information about a UK, he was a US ambassador to the US, Mandelson. And he was put in place by Keir Starmer. He's currently the UK Prime Minister. Well, we're hearing all kinds of information came out from Epstein about Mandelson having involvement with Epstein and Keir Starmer knowing that Mandelson had frequent contact with Epstein, I believe went to his island even after Epstein had been charged with pedo activities. So the UK people have been raising Cain about this. And 2CTV this morning put out that Keir Starmer and his aide, McSweeney, have resigned. So that's going on, and that's good for the U.S. because Keir Starmer wanted to sell Diego Garcia, a strategic island. So we have India, Iran, strategic U.S. military base. It's strategic for the UK. Also, he wanted to sell it to the island of Mauritius, which is off of the African coast that's controlled by the CCPs. So Keir Starmer, that was a traitor to both the U.S. and the UK. Well, then all of this Epstein information came out, was really played up by both the U.S. and UK mainstream media. And it's believed that Keir Starmer and his assistant, McSweeney, have resigned. So way to go, President Trump. Part of the deal. Now we have this tragic information coming out. This is a very sad case.
We're halfway.
So we have in Arizona, Tucson, I believe, we had the house of Nancy Guthrie. She's 84. She's the mother of Savannah Guthrie, who is a Today anchor on NBC. Now, this is Sunday. So I believe it was like Monday or Tuesday. No, it was last Sunday. Last Saturday night, not yesterday, but the previous Saturday, Nancy Guthrie had dinner and family night with her grown children who lived close to her. Then she was dropped off at her house. Then she had an outside camera on her porch. About 2 a.m. or so, that camera on the porch went blank or was taken down. It disappeared. It was not to be found. Also, about this time, 2:20 a.m., Nancy Guthrie had a pacemaker and she had an app on her phone that would pick up her pacemaker activity, and it said it stopped syncing to the phone. So I'm assuming the phone was left, but Nancy Guthrie was moved. They also found a small amount of blood on the front porch, the FBI, and they identified it as Nancy Guthrie's. Then a couple of 2 or 3 days, that was not yesterday, but the previous Saturday, on Sunday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, the 3 Guthrie children, Savannah, her sister Annie, and her brother, put forth a made-for-TV talking to the kidnapper, and they wanted proof of life. So One person has been arrested out of California for putting forth a fake ransom note. He wanted billions of dollars, millions of dollars in Bitcoin. That was fake, and he's been arrested by the FBI. Then today is Sunday, yesterday, Saturday, maybe Friday night, the FBI goes back to the house and closes off the street, has the reporters move out of the street. The FBI then puts up a ladder to the top of Nancy's house. They go up there and get another camera. Apparently, it was along the gutter edge of the roof. It's hoped that this will provide more information. And then we had Megyn Kelly and Ashley Banfield and News Nation putting out new information today that there's a possibility a TV station last night about 10 o'clock, KOLD, received some type of ransom request, but it was odd how it came in to the TV station. It came in just on their comment section, like KOLD would put out some information. What is your comment on this? And it left no return address. So that's going on. And in the last couple of days, the FBI had warrants, and they have picked up and taken in for processing 2 vehicles. One belongs to the mother, Nancy Guthrie, and one belongs to the daughter, Annie Guthrie. And we had also information from a local Circle K in the area. The FBI contacted them for information about their cameras. And the FBI is in possession of the Circle K video that would have been relevant to the time of kidnapping. So it's good to be in prayer for the Guthrie family, and especially for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who has pacemaker. She's been away since she was last kidnapped last weekend from her medicine she needs on a daily basis. So those are the updates on that case. And now we'll switch to what's going on in the world of Russia, Ukraine, Iran, China. So many possible areas for war activity. Now, recently in Russia, so we have Ukraine, we've got Europe, then we have the Middle East. We had a deputy negotiator, a general who would put together information or actually engage in negotiating for Russia with Ukraine on ending the war. So Ukraine decided to assassinate him. And his name is Alexeyeva. So he's a Russian general, a deputy negotiator. And we had, so I've got 2 sources on this, Alex Christoforou and Alexander Makuras. So this happened a few days ago, and in the apartment building also lived, who had been there for 2 months, a woman from Ukraine, apparently part of their Ukraine intel group, whose job it was to watch the general, find out what his movements are. She's since returned to Ukraine. Russia knows her identity, but she is now back inside Ukraine. The general was shot 3 or 4 times, I believe, in the back. But and he was taken to the hospital, and we have an update that he is conscious and it's believed he will, heal and revive. Now, Russia has caught 2 of the 3 perpetrators. This woman, assassin assistant, she's back in Ukraine. And they have also, right after the assassination took place, the Russian FSB, that's the new name for what had been the KGB, it's now called FSB, tracked the gunman to a airport in Russia. Obviously he had already taken off from the airport, and he went to the UAE and the Middle East. Well, while he was en route, Russia called the UAE police, and they got him at the airport, took him off of the plane he came in on, and took him to another plane and flew him back to Russia. So that's going on. And then a third assassin assistant has also been captured. So the woman's name in Ukraine is Zanita Britskaya, and she's Russian and born in Ukraine. We have another Russian who was also born in Ukraine, who had been in the Russian Navy, who assisted in the assassination, Viktor Vasin. He's also been arrested. And the gunman who did the actual shooting, Yubarov Korba, he's also been arrested. So that's going on. And now we have this. We have from what's going on in Iran. So President Trump has put tariffs. So we have Iran. He's put tariffs on anyone buying Iranian oil. The U.S. is also tracking and will block 14 vessels that Iran owns and they use to ship oil. And then President Trump recently made a deal with India. Part of this deal is to not buy Iranian oil. It's also to use more U.S. dollar instead of the BRICS system. President Trump ordered the deal. So we have that going on. And but Keir Starmer, has resigned. And we had a recent meeting between the U.S. and Iran with Iran's foreign minister, Arachi. And he says Iran will not have another meeting with the U.S. unless we can know that the U.S. will be fair and equitable. Otherwise, there's no deal with Iran. These people, I believe, in Iran, this theocracy, religion running the government, the Ayatollah, the mullahs, the IRGC. Personally, I don't believe these people are in touch with the real world. So that's going on. And now we have this China. So President Trump has been successful in persuading the Panama government to end 2 port service contracts around the Panama Canal that had been held by China through Hong Kong C.K. Hutchison. Bloomberg reports China lost its leases. We have this from, about China, from Discern Report on Steve Quayle's aggregate site. And so reporting from Epoch Times, yes, Congress had a recent hearing And this was about China and their treatment of religion inside China. And China continues to target, put in prison, or kill, or do organ transplant. Organ, they don't transplant, they just take the organs and sell them. And they do all this against Christians, Uyghurs, Muslims, Buddhists, Falun Gong, plus. And they arrest these people because they're practicing a religion. The CCP has put out the CCP Bible, and it is the CCP who is God in China. According to the 12 families that run China, of which President Xi, is a member of the 12 ruling families. That's how he got to his position. So yeah, and the Chinese government also burns down churches, mosques. That's going on, but the U.S. is having a congressional hearing about it. Possibly that will impact our relationship with China. And we have this about Neville Singham. He's a tech billionaire, CCP, who also pays agitators inside the U.S., as does George Soros. Now, this Neville Singham has been tied by the U.S. Congress to companies in Shanghai, Starstream, and Macau. And Macau is the primary company to put forward CCP propaganda. It's been identified as the propaganda maker technology by the New York Times. Congress calls on Singham to be investigated as a CCP agent. So that's going on. And we have this. Now, I put forth recently that, according to my sources, the U.S. owns Greenland. So it seems like Canada and France have opened consulates in Greenland. So what can we do? We can just welcome consulates from France and Canada to the newest territory of America, Greenland. So it's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Let's call for football. Okay, we got the hard videos out of the way, the two big ones, News Sports and Billy. The last 25, I'm going to try to get a bunch of short ones in. We'll go 4 o'clock. I just found this.
Savannah's mother, and it is her brother-in-law. FBI agents were seen arriving at the couple's home on Tuesday. This all took place around 2:30 p.m. local time. It is now being reported that Savannah's brother-in-law is the quote prime suspect in her mother's disappearance. In addition to that, his car has been seized and impounded. However, some reports are stating that it was Annie's vehicle that was impounded. What we can conclude is that a vehicle was impounded from the couple's home. Furthermore, they have also confirmed that all of the cameras on Nancy's home were smashed, and that whoever committed this crime had extreme knowledge of the layout of Nancy's home. 1, in order to reach the bedroom, and 2, in order to smash every camera that was known at the home. As you may recall, Savannah's older sister Annie was the last person to see their missing mother. The two spent the evening enjoying dinner together and playing games. Some outlets have reported that this is Annie's boyfriend, and others have reported that this is her husband. Either way, Annie and her significant other lived about 10 minutes away from Nancy's home. Thomas, who would be Nancy's son-in-law and Savannah's brother-in-law, is a 6th grade science teacher. He has been teaching since 2007 to the present. Breaking news, they now have a prime suspect in the case of missing Savannah.
Okay. You guys remember this photo? Missing children per year. USA is 800,000. Our friends Australia, 25,000. Okay. I got her again. I couldn't get to those other ones.
Speak out until they remove my account. I need to talk to you about something very important. Please stay with me just for a few
6
seconds,
minutes.
okay? 320,000 children went missing under the Biden administration. As of December of 2025, the Trump administration has found 62,000 of these children. ICE in August of 2025 went to a motel room in Nebraska and rescued over 27 human trafficking victims, 10 which were under the age of 12 years old. They were in motel rooms that were filled with cockroaches being SA'd. Now imagine the kind of men that come into a room to be with someone that age with a room that's so filthy it's surrounding cockroaches. I want you to think about what these children went through. All the left can do with 3 million pages of Epstein files released, you would think that there would just be 3 million pages of the word Trump typed, 3 million over and over and over. That's all you would hear. It's strange to me that under Donald Trump's leadership, all of these children, the 62,000 that have been found, are under his leadership. But yes, he's the one that everyone on the left focuses on, saying that he was doing this to children. Those are allegations. I know that it's very hard for the left to comprehend that. And in fact, it's not that they can't comprehend it. It just gives them something to scream out. The facts are Donald Trump was never on that island. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm exhausted with this. I'm just beyond exhausted. We've got people that were victimized coming out and saying that Donald Trump never touched them. We've got the FBI tip line that in 2020, when he was running, all of a sudden, these things that you're hearing were called in to the tip line. There are no videos. There are no emails. There's no photos. There's no flight logs showing that he was on that island participating in this. However, that's the only person that the left seems to focus on. Ask yourself this. This is very important. The left is fighting against the removal of illegals who SA children. The left is fighting against banning men from women's bathrooms. The left is for children being able to surgically alter themselves at a very young age. The left is, let me repeat myself, actively protesting, blocking, being violent to prevent ICE agents from removing men who do what they say Trump did, but they are against Trump. Make it make sense. A civil war is coming. I say to you, a civil war is already here. When have you ever in your own country been afraid to go to a doctor because you don't know what side they're on. Now, if it's a conservative doctor, 99.999%, you're going to get the treatment that you should get. But if it's a doctor on the left, what kind of treatment are you going to get? They're on here actively saying what they're going to do to you, what they're going to do to ICE agents. We've got nurses saying it. We've got teachers doing it to the kids, taking the kids to the protests, taking them out of school, making them make their little signs with their colors. We are living in a time where if you don't know who's watching after your mama, and she's a CNA, and they find out your mama's a conservative, what's going to happen? We are already in a civil war. It's happening. This is why the left is coming after people like me who speak out about these things. And they get off on posting their little memes, Epstein files. They go to Roderick's little video of him being so cute. He's in the Epstein files. Well, so is Reba fucking McEntire. So is Oprah Winfrey. So is half of the United States, if you want to be for real. Greg Kelly off Newsmax, a reporter, his name is in the Epstein files. You want to know why? Because he did a segment on the Epstein files. If you have been interviewed, talked to, if you have been mentioned, if someone said, well, I know that Greg Kelly did an interview on such and such who was a victim of Epstein, Greg Kelly's name is in the Epstein files. The Epstein files is not a book that you open up and Donald Trump's fucking head pops out. And now the new thing is they're even saying that I said it in my last video. You guys know I did not say that President Trump kidnapped Guthrie, right?
Yep,
I never
agree.
Okay. So now, not only has he done all this stuff to children, but then he turns around and rescues all these children who could turn around and tell on him. But now they're saying he had Guthrie's mama taken. Why? President Trump out there snatching mamas left and right, y'all. I would think that he went to The View and snatched their mamas. But he gonna snatch Savannah's mama first? Guys, we're living in a time of insanity. Now I need you guys to engage. All my conservative friends, I need you to help me with these blocking because they're gonna come after this video too. They're reporting every single thing that I have. Okay, don't engage with liberals, block them, report them. We've took the high road long enough. It's time to play the same game. Don't forget, stay strong, vote in the midterms and all.
That was her new one, the latest for today. Another good one from her. I got 3 more short ones, you guys. And then tomorrow evening between 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Hopefully I don't have to do 2 shows. Play it by ear, day by day. So I got 3 more short ones. Did we play this one? I don't know if we did or not.
And our problem with America is we don't know the terminology anymore. We don't know punctuation anymore. We don't know grammar anymore. And we have such a down society who have short attention spans. And then when a veteran gets down on his high horse, oh, he's got an attitude problem. Oh, look at him over there. Well, maybe I do. I'm just like Johnny Cash. Well, maybe I do have an attitude problem. Maybe I do because I'm passionate and I didn't get to serve as long as I wanted to because of some other bullcrap politics inside the military, which I have all documented. And I'm serving beyond service and my oath didn't expire. So we're going to backtrack really quick. When people say you're repetitive, well, guess what? It's because it's all in writing and you don't need a whole lot of stuff. It's a chronological order that Donald John Trump and the military did. So you don't need a whole lot. Now, there is still a lot of information with it, sure. But you still don't need all this stuff that these Kardashians are doing to you. They're just filling you full of stuff that don't even matter. I'm going to catch my breath. June 12th, 2015, the Law War Manual was reissued. They took all the strengths of years past of things in history that created tyranny. They, military attorneys and federal attorneys, they took the strengths of the Hague Conventions, the Geneva Conventions, the Nuremberg trials, and the Lieber Code of 1863. They took all the strengths of those. Then they took the Law War Manuals from Germany, Great Britain, Canada, and Australia. Combined all those strengths, reissued the new Law War Manual. The Law War Manual, ladies and gentlemen, is, for those that don't know, it's the Department of Defense's manual, if you will, or constitution, if you will. It's not the law. It's not the Uniform Code of Military Justice, but it's the Law of War Manual. It talks about belligerent and occupying territory. All right. It's not an easy read for civilians, and because it ain't supposed to be. Donald John Trump rolls down the escalator 4 days later. What's the coincidence of that? What's the odds of that? To announce his candidacy for 2016. The military.
Well, that's the latest on DJ. I think that was yesterday's, but I don't think we played it. Okay, guys, last one. Short one.
Poured into the city, unaware that a different kind of traffic was moving beneath the surface. In the quiet hours before dawn, in a neighborhood built to look untouchable, federal agents prepared to shatter a lie that had survived for years. What appeared to be a flawless slice of the American dream was, in reality, the front door to one of the most disturbing criminal operations ever uncovered in a wealthy U.S. zip code. And when that door finally came down, the truth hit like a thunderclap. The operation began in silence. Fog hung low as teams staged miles away, armed not with guesses, but with months of surveillance and a plan measured down to the second. This was no routine warrant service. It was a full-scale strike aimed at the heart of a machine that had turned human beings into inventory. When the signal came, the calm snapped. Gates were breached. The illusion of safety collapsed. Within moments, resistance was neutralized, and agents pushed past polished marble and designer furniture, ignoring the luxury entirely. Their destination was below. What they found under that mansion rewrote everything. Behind reinforced steel meant for vaults, not homes, was a world designed to erase identity. More than 400 people were crammed into spaces never meant for living. Families were separated, children were hidden, adults were held in fear, conditioned to believe rescue would never come. This was not neglect. It was organization, a system.
You too.
Investigators quickly realized this house was not an anomaly. It was a hub. Money flowed through it as smoothly as the people who disappeared inside. More than $43 million had been washed clean through shell companies and legal paperwork crafted to look respectable. On the surface, it was corporate efficiency. In reality, it was modern slavery disguised as business. The case did not crack open because of a sophisticated algorithm or a lucky break. It started with a repair call. A maintenance worker noticed something that did not belong, a secured door, a keypad, and sounds that did not match the story he had been told. He was advised to look away. Wealth, after all, comes with secrets. He refused. That single decision triggered a chain reaction that federal agencies would later describe as the turning point. Surveillance revealed patterns that could not be ignored. Vehicles arrived on strict schedules late at Nikki. The streets of New York glittered with holiday lights while
Okay, that's the rescue video. Well, I got some more videos in after, since I didn't play that third video that was long. But we had another great show. I think we had a lot of good views today again. I think it might be my biggest one today, I think. So thanks everybody, and Kay, Flying Eagle, Lucy, Tim. Tim's haven't been in today. Not saying much. And JJ. So to see how things go tonight, if we get any breaking news on any important intel, I'll come on. Till tomorrow night, 5 and 6. Have a good work week, everybody, and hopefully we'll get something this week. And God bless you guys. I love all. Remember, please hit the like and sub to the other backup channels. Stay strong, keep the faith. Never give up. Signing off for Chico Doing and thanks, Cam, everybody, and see how things go next couple of days. See you soon.